Welcome to the first edition of Red and Black Sport. Yes, after about 30 years, Pete Smith Host has been buried. And can I just say, right from the beginning, to the crew, to the designers, the set looks brilliant, guys. Thank you very, very much indeed. And to give pleasure to an old bloke like me, well, there you go. It's great. So, yeah, and it's a great occasion that we actually mark the start of Red and Black Sport, because the largest young people's gathering for a sporting event in the Southern Hemisphere is only a week away. It's the Māori Cup, and it's being held at Lake Ruataniwha. If you've not been, and you've heard me wax lyrical about this many, many times, it is an outstanding example of young men and women trained to the hilt and totally dedicated to the sport. It's a cruel sport, it's tough. If you're late getting to the blocks, you're scratched. There's no excuses. So it teaches discipline, it teaches all kinds of things. It's a very character-building sport, and Ruataniwha really is a brilliant setting. They wax lyrical, of course, about Karapiro, but I just think the way it's settled there in the Mackenzie country, it's just a very, very special venue, and it's every 2 years that it comes to the South Island, the Māori Cup. So get there if you can. It starts next Monday, and I'll find out from my guests exactly roughly how many are going to be there, but it's a massive event, huge undertaking. Where they all stay, I have no idea. It's only a little township really, but they seem to find farm stays and all kinds of things. But if we get to the New Zealand president of secondary schools rowing for a start, she is involved, of course, with St Margaret's Rowing as well, who have done very, very well in recent times. And the name you might recognise, Trudy Keys. You might recognise it. Trudy, there's a bit of heritage in the last name, isn't there, Keys?
Yes, there is.
Welcome to the... What do you think of the new set?
Fantastic.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, the first one up on it too, which is great, yeah. George, of course, pretty well known, your husband.
Yes.
You were a rower as well.
Yes.
And it raises one question. Does the pairing up sort of occur quite a bit after Māori Cups or something? Because you met George through rowing, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Yes, yes, many years ago in Nelson, when he moved up to Nelson to row for a few years.
Right. Who were you rowing for?
Nelson Rowing Club.
Nelson Rowing Club.
Yes,
They
yeah.
strong in those days?
Yes, they were.
Yeah.
Yes, people like Brenda Lawson and Lindley Hannon and
Right.
To name a few strong women, female rowers, as well as George, that came out of their international teams.
Wonderful occasion. There's something special about a Māori Cup, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
I haven't exaggerated it.
No, not at all.
It is just wonderful. What's your thoughts on Lake Ruataniwha?
It's a fantastic venue.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's our home venue.
Yep.
And
How big an advantage is that?
well, we like to think that we acclimatise better than the North Islanders. I was speaking to someone on the phone just the other day, and they were saying how hot it had been up in Hamilton, so they may not get that down there.
No, they may not. Who would know with the blimmin' weather the way it is?
Exactly.
Tell me, the numbers game, you've been in that game a long time.
Yes.
The numbers gone up? Has it become a more fashionable sport?
Yes, well, the entry's only just closed off last week, and it is the largest regatta we've had.
Numbers, give us some numbers.
2,100 competitors.
Yeah, cracked the 2,000. Well done.
And
what's the split, male-female?
I think it's a pretty even.
Is it really?
Yeah, I haven't been given the split, but in past it's usually been maybe a wee bit more towards females, but sometimes...
Yeah, that's what I wondered.
It just sort of hovers sometimes.
Right, yeah.
And there's 125 schools, and there's some new schools there. Just at the couple of weekends ago at the South Island Secondary Schools, we had Cashmere High School win a medal, Avonside Girls win a medal, and that's their first medal at a rowing event. I think it's the first time in many, many, many years that Cashmere's actually rowed.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes. Yeah.
How much is that put down to the achievements of the national side?
I think it has. I mean, you see, it's a lot more visible now with on the with Sky, and they give us all the World Cups and all the
Olympics.
The Olympics.
Yeah.
And
There's been some real heroes come out too, haven't
really
there? Both men and women. So it's probably they're role models, and they've probably appealed to a lot of youngsters.
That's right.
But it is tough, isn't it, Trudy? We can't over-exaggerate it.
No.
It is a blimmin' tough sport.
It is, yes.
We're going to talk to the captain of St Margaret's Rowing a little bit later on. We'll just ask her what her regime is like. But you're managing the St Margaret's side and wearing the mantle of President of Secondary School New Zealand. So it's quite an onerous task for you, isn't it?
Yes, it has been fairly busy. We've got a big team, And a lot of the national stuff for me is over when Māori Cup starts.
Right, okay, the
because
prep's all done.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
But you've got to showcase it, don't you? You've
Yes,
got to do
we
it right.
Yep,
Yeah.
definitely. We hand our association, who is now part of New Zealand Rowing, from our association we have a small committee that serve under Gillian Simpson, who's the chair of the secondary school, of the school committee on New Zealand Rowing board. We run all that side of it, but when it comes to the actual national regatta, which is the Māori Cup, we hand that over to the hosts of the venue.
Big responsibility. How many volunteers would be involved? Be thousands, wouldn't there?
Yes.
Families, parents, grandparents.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
And the sight of the bank lined with spectators is something pretty special, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, there's 250 metres of spectator tents. And so the students can hear the roar of the crowd when they get into the last 250, the yellow boys. And often they can't hear what's being said, but they can just hear the
noise.
The noise. Yeah.
And it builds to a tremendous climax, doesn't it?
Does,
over a week.
Yes.
So it's a long campaign.
It is, yeah. Well, the racing is, like, I've just seen a preliminary schedule, and it's going from 8:30 in the morning to 6 o'clock at night, and that's weather permitting.
Correct.
If we get bad weather, then it really...
It could stack up, can't it?
and causes the organisers a lot of...
And they are so strict with time, aren't they? You cannot be late to your blocks.
No.
You're out.
Well, even at the recent South Island Secondary Schools Champs, they had to have a race coming down every 4 minutes.
It's incredible, really.
Yeah, they have to station the umpires' boats at the 500 metre mark to try and cut down on the wash.
Really?
So they can't just have one boat following it all the way down. They have one, then they pull out, and then the next boat takes over. So it's a lot of manpower. The bigger it gets, there's a lot of manpower to actually...
Now, it's an expensive sport too, isn't it? I mean, I don't know what a shell's worth now, but it's very expensive,
It
isn't
is, yeah. The equipment's expensive, and it costs the students a lot to row, but then when you break it down, a lot of that's just the cost of travel and accommodation and feeding the team and things like that. And I mean, I'm involved in a winter sport, and in comparison to what we pay, I think they get pretty good bang for their buck, actually.
There we are. So that's from the New Zealand President of Secondary Schools Rowing. In a minute, we're going to meet the captain as well of St Margaret's, Emma Henderson. Back shortly here on Red and Black Sport. Welcome back to Red and Black Sport. Pete Smith here with you, and we're talking the subject of rowing. Huge event coming up next week at Ruataniwha. It's not that far by car to get down there, and if you've got a day even, make sure you go, because boy, it is something very special. Someone who is making her 4th appearance for St Margaret's is Emma Henderson. Does it get better?
Yes, definitely. It definitely gets better as you get older.
Right. Easier?
No, never gets easier.
What are you rowing in?
I'm rowing in the lightweight 4, the 18.8 and the 18.4.
3 disciplines.
Yes.
That's a pretty packed program for you, isn't it?
Yes, but it's quite spread out, so it's okay.
Is it? Okay. How long have you been preparing for this Māori Cup yourself?
Since September.
Really? Yeah.
So we've just started training.
So that is a long time, isn't it? Yeah. Now, it hasn't been easy to live in Canterbury and be a rower, has it, to be perfectly honest? Where do you have to go?
We train at Kaiapoi.
In the Waimak River?
Yes.
It's a dog, isn't it?
It's actually quite cool because there's only 3 schools there, 2 or 3 schools
Where do
there.
the others go?
Well, there's not any others.
Well, where would Cashmere row or that sort of thing?
They're at Kerrs Reach.
So Kerrs Reach is still operating?
Yes.
All right.
So we're really lucky. We've got good facilities out there and everything.
Yeah. So you obviously truly part of your job was to move to the Waimak.
Yes, the Waimak District Council were really supportive. I went along to a meeting, and they gave me a couple of options, and we found a site beside the Croquet Club.
Yeah, I know exactly where it is. Yep. Yeah. What's the water like there?
The Little River's really good.
Good.
It can be blowing really hard out on the Waimak, and we can just go up and down that.
Right.
It's a bit more challenging at low tide.
Is that the nor'west that's the Pig of a wind for you or what?
Yes, mainly.
Yeah,
and a strong nor'east with an outgoing time.
Right. One of the big things with any school sport, basically, Emma, is that obviously your crew is going to change each year because you have people leaving school, don't you?
Yes.
So you must have come in as a young one, did you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. At what, about 14?
Yes, I was 14.
14, right, okay. So you've seen a lot of crew changes.
Mm-hmm.
Have you changed disciplines yourself?
The crew has changed lots.
Yes, but your own disciplines that you row in, you've...
No, not necessarily. I just kind of went up in the age groups
Right.
and then kind of raced the same boats, but just a bit of different people.
Right, okay. Getting the balance right, well, I'll ask both of you, getting the balance right of a 4, for argument's sake, is pretty important, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, very important.
Is that on height, weight, the whole lot, what?
It just, well, technique's the big thing, and it can be made up of all different sizes and shapes. And sometimes people do what we call tandem rig, and that is instead of conventional rig is stroke, bow,
Yes.
they go stroke, bow, bow, stroke. So it ends up with 2 people rowing on one side
Right.
together, and sometimes that helps balance the
That's
boat
done
out.
for balance,
yeah.
is it?
Well, that and just maybe you end up with 2. The person might be quite strong and they're in the bow, and they might be better off sitting in 2 seat.
Yeah. So that's a trial and error thing early on, is it? I mean, you're never quite sure when you start in September, for argument's sake, how it's
No.
going to look by the time you get to March.
No, it's just trial and error.
Yeah, yeah.
Test it out.
Do you get on? I mean, you're all good mates, or?
Oh, definitely.
You
I
have
mean,
to,
you're with
wouldn't
them
you?
all the time.
And a question I'm going to ask, and it's not, I don't want to get too involved in it, but
Okay.
do you have a life?
Yes.
You do. You can fit other things in.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Well, there's lots of people at regattas and everything, so meet
but
everyone.
they're very demanding on your time.
Yes, well, it kind of teaches you to time manage, like,
Right.
you know, you do your homework.
So what's
row.
a week? A normal training week? What do you, how many times do you go?
We're on the water twice, and we do ergs twice, and then 2 gym sessions.
Right. So there's a variety to
Saturdays.
it.
And Saturday on the water as well.
Saturday's on the water, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Judy, you were saying that there's been quite a gap this year
Yes.
in actual racing.
Yes, there has. In the South Island, I don't think the North Island's been quite as bad, but we had the South Island Club Championships on the 1st and 2nd of February, and then we had, I think it was either 5 or 6 weeks till the South Island Secondary Schools Champs.
That's a
on
long
the
time, isn't
8th
it?
and 9th of March.
That's unusual.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is unusual to have that big gap.
Why?
I think we usually have a local regatta down at Lake Hood, but I don't think we could get on. The lake was available, so and of course the nationals are on, and when that sort of dictates when the other events can be put on.
Right. How tricky and difficult has it been managing in the last 3 years, trying to manage rowing?
Yes, it's had its challenges.
Yeah.
First of all, for everyone here in Canterbury, just finding the right venue to be able to train their crews. And as Emma said, you know, there's 2 or 3 of us that have gone out to the Waimak. The Avon Club and St Bede's have set up a base at Stewart's Gully Yacht Club.
Really?
Yep. And then there's quite a few here. And the thing is that at Kerr's Reach, the dynamics of the river have changed considerably.
Yes.
And so the volume of water to train on isn't there that used to be. And
I bet it was last week or the week before, or whatever it was, when we had
Exactly.
the storms. Yeah.
But, and they've had the other problem that the Avondale Bridge has now been closed for 2 seasons.
Yes.
So it's restricted something like 300-400 students to rowing on 1,800 metres of water.
Have you had 4 different coaches in 4 years, or has a coach gone through with you? What happens, Emma?
Well, each coach kind of coaches boat, like their own boat, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
So each year I do have a different coach, but
Right.
over the past couple of years I had the same.
And they all bring something different, I presume?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
really good having different coaches to help you
Some
out.
are good, some are bad.
they're all good.
Oh, they're all good. She says the right thing. That's why she's captain. You see, you've got to say the right things, don't you? Okay. Water sport has been badly hit. There's no 2 ways about it. And it's not just rowing, but it just seems water sport in general has really
Yes.
been smacked
Yeah,
around, hasn't
they
it?
have, yes.
Which is a jolly shame. So you're going to approach this Māori Cup with confidence?
Yes, yep, we will, and we'll see what it brings.
Yeah.
I mean, we're confident that we've got our team to where we can possibly get it, and we don't know what the North Islanders are doing. I mean,
You do get a look at the times,
We
though,
do
don't you?
get to look at the
Yeah.
times, but there is a difference between the two lakes.
Yes.
Some people say 10 seconds. I don't know.
Is
We don't really
Karapiro
know.
quicker?
It tends to be,
Yeah.
yes.
But they have weed, don't they?
Yeah, it's not too bad
Not
though.
too bad.
They would clear it away before the regatta starts.
Right. Not a problem though at Rotanifa, is it? The
No,
weed?
no problem at
But
all.
it's just slower water.
Yes, yeah.
Is it harder to row at Twizel than it is at Karapiro?
I find it easier because it's not as hot.
Ah, right.
So,
Yeah.
and it's, especially because I've trained there. I always
Do they
train
get
there.
more wind at Karapiro than they do at Twizel or not?
No, I think it's pretty the same, just depending on the weather, really.
It is very weather dependent, that sport though, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. And you can train as hard as you like, but you don't know what you're going to get on the day, do you?
I
That's-
know,
that's
I
the
know,
problem, yeah.
yes.
What have you taken out of rowing as far as the discipline side of it?
Oh, well, fitness is a huge component. As I said, time management.
Yep.
Managing your time is huge, like in the rowing season, so much to do. Just friendships, really meeting heaps of people from different year groups. Just so much. Heaps of things I've taken out.
When we come back, I'm going to ask what the captain actually does. What's the role of the captain of a rowing team? We know what the manager's role is because she's got New Zealand duties as well. When we're back with Emma Henderson and we're back with Trudy Keys. So Red and Black Sport for the last time coming up. Can't help but mention that the set looks stunning, doesn't it? Yeah, the new Red and Black Sport. So we've got a new home and we're looking forward to it. And we've got two lovely guests. And I've got to say, Emma, great choice of blazer, to actually merge in with us all. It's great, yeah. I thought St Margaret's were just all green. But what is the significance of the red blazer, I'm sorry?
So you get it if you win a national event.
What'd you win?
The 18-8 last year.
Did you?
Yes.
18-8, yeah. That's still the glamour one? The
Yes.
8?
Yes,
yeah.
definitely.
It always is, isn't it?
Always.
Trudy? In your day it would have been?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
to row in an 8, yeah. And that's probably the only real disappointment that we'd have with New Zealand rowing,
Yes.
that we haven't had an 8 for a long time.
No, they're sort of building. They've had an under 23 8 that
Yes.
did very well last year, and it won at the under 23s.
So they might work towards Rio?
Yes, I think that's their plan.
Good on them,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm not close to the selectors, but that's what they've said their plan
Which
is.
brings up the next thing, and rowing is no different from a lot of other sports. It's hellishly easy to do when you're at school, but the attrition rate is quite high, isn't it? People not going on with it. You're in your last year. Is this the end of rowing for you?
No, definitely not. I'll continue it next year.
Who's your role model? Who do you want to be when you grow up? Who do you...
Oh, that's a hard one. Probably Holly Greenslade. She was our head of rowing last
right.
year, and she's done so well. So,
Yeah.
look up to her.
Right. Are you going to go and study? What are you going to do apart from rowing?
Hopefully go to university. So
Here?
maybe Dunedin or Wellington.
Right. Is Wellington very strong with the rowing or not?
I think Dunedin's a bit stronger,
Yes.
so leaning
yeah.
towards that.
Might go
but,
to Dunedin. What are you going to do?
I was thinking psychology, but I guess a bit more thought into that.
But we'll get Marty out of the road first, won't we?
Exactly.
Yeah. Will it be tinged with sadness, the end of Marty?
Yes, it does. Like, especially being under 18,
Hmm.
leaving the squad, it's quite sad. Being with them for 4 years.
Yeah, I can understand that. But there must be some relief that you think, God, it's over.
A little bit.
Yeah. Do you get a bit of downtime, or what do you do?
Yes, you get heaps of downtime at Marty. So
Right.
when you're not racing, you're expected to rest up for your races and things.
You got 44 going or something, haven't you, Tree, for St Margaret?
Yeah, 43,
Where
yeah.
you house them?
We've been really fortunate since about 2010. We struck up a relationship with the High Country Lodge in Twizel,
Oh.
and they accommodated us for
In tents, I hope.
No.
Oh, no. You haven't got a bed. Good Lord.
We
I thought
feel-
you guys just slept in the thistles or whatever.
Oh, no.
We feel very at home there. They accommodated us for a month after the earthquake when we had to relocate for somewhere to train.
Wonderful. Yeah.
And so we're one whole block that we fill up
Yeah.
because they have great big long blocks. So yeah.
I can imagine. Karapiro is sort of the glamour one.
Yes.
Twizel's got its own unique,
It has,
hasn't it,
yeah.
Rotanifa?
Yeah.
It's more down to earth, I would have thought. Is that fair comment, Emma?
Yes, definitely. Like, everything's in so much more close proximity. So, yeah.
Long days, though, aren't they?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
And a lot of racing for you guys It's fascinating. It really is. You've had a lifelong passion for the sport. You've still got it, Trudy. You still get passionate. You still
do.
love seeing them come through.
Yes, yeah.
Is this the ideal level rather than at national for you?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
I've done all that sort of stuff. So it's nice. I mean, I enjoy working with the girls. I mean, that's part of my job, and I just enjoy the satisfaction of seeing them achieve.
Do co-ed schools have an advantage or not? I mean, do they row against the guys? Do they train against them? I mean, yeah.
Well, they could do, yes. I'm not sure. Like St Peter's from Cambridge is one of the co-ed schools is very strong, has big numbers, and they probably do train a lot together.
Right.
But in terms of overall points, I mean, they're probably the one school that can sometimes get the overall points. But Hamilton boys have been up there, we've been up there, Rangi's been up there. So you know, it's
So
not
South Island
strictly
schools
just
equip themselves very well, don't they?
They do,
Yeah,
yes.
they perform very well, really, which is great. And that helps grow the sport here,
Oh,
obviously.
it does, yeah.
Are you looked up to by the fellow students? You know,
Well, I hope so.
You're a rower, yeah.
Yes,
I remember boys in the first 15 always were, but as one of girls in rowing, it's...
Yeah, I hope so. Well,
Yeah.
it's such a cool sport at our school. Like, we're so tight-knit and, you know, everything like that.
What does a captain do, boss?
Just lead the squad, really, along...
What does that mean?
Well, just teach the novice the ropes
Yeah.
right from day one. Along with the other seniors, we all...
That's the protocol of rowing and the etiquette
Yes.
of rowing and all the groundwork stuff you've got to drill into them.
Yes,
Yeah,
just all those things like organising stuff and...
Yeah. And how do you choose a captain? What do you look for a captain?
The students choose the captain. They vote for the captain.
Really?
Yep.
Isn't that good? Yeah. I'm looking at all your badges and I'm just thinking to myself, how do you fit it all in? School council, sport council, captain of rowing, head of the junior school, boarding. You're boarding there.
Yes.
Right. Is that an advantage?
Yes, definitely.
Where's home? You're not sure.
It's actually around the corner, but we have to move out for the earthquakes and things. So
you went to boarding?
Yes.
Yeah, and how long ago?
start of this year.
Are you enjoying it?
Yes, I love it.
Yeah. Wish you'd done it earlier?
I did for a term last year, just in rowing season, so that was
Right.
very helpful.
Yeah.
But it's so good being on site for rowing and things.
Are there, do country people take it up more readily than city slickers or what?
No, I think it's pretty even. Yeah, sometimes we have more boarders than day girls, but I think, what are we now? Probably more day girls than boarders, aren't
Right.
we?
Yeah. All right. Had a look at your field. Let's talk about the 8.
Okay.
You're going to win it?
Oh, it's hard to say, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. You tell me.
It is hard to say because we've never raced the North Island Cruise, but I have full faith in our squad and hopefully we can do well.
Your main dangers?
All
of them.
Yeah, everyone. Exactly. As I said, we haven't raced everyone yet, so yeah.
Where is the real strength of St Margaret's rowing right now? In what discipline really do you say, crikey, they've really come on in leaps and bounds?
I think in our younger, under 15s and 16s are strong this year. So.
Right. Which is healthy, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Because you've got 2 or 3 more years with them, which is good.
Yes,
So, and they will breed others coming through, won't
That's
they?
right,
Which is great.
yeah.
Do you get socially distracted at Ruatana for Emma? There's lots of people about, aren't there?
Sometimes a little bit, to be honest.
Fit, healthy-looking people, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah. You might go like the manager. You see, you might end up marrying a rower. You never know what could happen. Yeah. Well, we
Maybe.
wish you both the best of luck, and I can't reinforce more that if you do get the opportunity sometime in the course of next week to just pop down to Ruatana, I'm going to go down. I'm really looking forward to it. It's a wonderful spectacle. The parents make it, the grandparents make it. The whole occasion's made for it, isn't it?
Yes,
really.
yeah.
Wish you, Emma, the very best luck
Thank
in
you
your
so
last
much.
year.
Thank you.
And we probably look for your Notago colours, will we?
Hopefully.
Hopefully we will. And further on up if we can.
Maybe.
Yeah. Really good managing and good captaincy.
Thank
There we
you.
are.
Thank
That's
you.
the first Red and Black Sport, and I hope you enjoyed it. Wonderful to showcase, isn't it? A sport like rowing. Back next week with another Red and Black Sport.